I'm going to be respectful of the favorite trends, but I'm not going to be shying away from underdogs.
Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Parlay Howard on VSiN.
You are a dog player, so I know you're not into do theory, but how are you reacting after what we've seen in the last 2 UFC cards where favorites are 20-4 and 65% on the year? How does this factor in your handicapping and how you want to attack fight night tomorrow and what you're doing moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great lead-in, Paul. And really, as a dog player, what I do is track the openers very closely. And out of the 11 fights here, 8 of them are lined at minus 200 or greater, and all of those favorites have grown exponentially. And I think that's partly because of the last 2 weeks, 20-4 favorites. And I think that affects a lot of the bettors, and this isn't an NFL market. That we don't have the sophistication in the UFC as an NFL market does. And so I think that there's a little bit of bright light in the eyes of some of the bettors, and they're looking at those favorites. Obviously, that creates opportunity on the other side. And even though this is a heavily chalked card, and I do advise going very slow and cautious here, while I'll say that, I'm not afraid. And the only way for me to play this is to try and take the rifle out and shoot at a few of the underdogs whose value has gone up and twice in price in some instances.
That's a great point about it keeps cash, and so the public's going to go back to the well. How about a bomber to start? Zahabi plus 550. Now, you only hit one of these. You're having a big night. Let's start with the plus 550, and if you want to get higher than that, maybe 11-1. Break this one down for us.
Yeah, Zahabi is his brother owns TriStar in Canada. He's a fighter that's won 3 or 4 of his last fights. Started out real shaky, couldn't stop a sneeze, but he's coming in with momentum, fighting one of the Bashrat brothers. These 2 Bashrat brothers from Afghanistan, heavy wrestling, very good, very talented. I'm not so sure this is the better of the 2 Bashrats. And Mr. Bashrat opens 450. Now he's 750. Obviously,
wow.
Zahabi opens 350. He's now 550. That line is out of whack. And so I'm going to take a little half-unit play on Zahabi, and I'm going to also sprinkle a little bit Zahabi on decision plus 11.5. These are all circa prices. Now, the over in this fight, 2.5 rounds, a 3-round fight, minus 230 to the over. So they're helping me understand that this is going to be a decision, and I think it's a close, competitive fight, much closer and much more competitive than the market's showing.
Okay. How about another bomber? Picket. Plus 385 against Anders.
Yeah, this is in the main card, 185-pounders, and this fight's at the apex. So we're in the smaller cage. You got bigger guys. Anders and Picket. Anders should be the favorite. He opened 250. Now he's 485. Listen, Eric Anders, the ex-Alabama linebacker, he's a great athlete, but he's still a developing fighter, and he's 36 years old. His prime is past him. He's durable. He's tough. And Picket, big, long, tall guy, going to have an inch of reach on him. 7 inches of reach and an inch of height. Picket has also improved, though he's a journeyman fighter. This is a competitive fight. Again, much more competitive than the line is showing, and I think Picket is live here, and I'm surely not afraid of him at his current price of $385 after he opened at $210. Now, the over in this fight, 2.5 rounds in a 3-round fight, minus 120 to the over. Picket by decision plus 700. Yes, I'll have a little on that too.
Okay. Ribero plus 260. Take it away, another big dog.
Yeah, and again, this is another 185-pound fight. Ribero is a flamboyant, striking, crazy man from the pompous Brazilian, and he's fighting an ex-basketball player. The basketball player, Christian Leroy Duncan, going to be a little taller, going to be a few years younger, and surely have a couple inches of reach. But he's still developing quite a bit. Ribero comes in very hungry, very desperate, and I think this Vegas, again, is another fight, a little more competitive than the line is showing. Christian Leroy Duncan opens 250. He's now 265. Ribero plus 260 or 265 for, again, these are all half-unit bets. I'm going to be respectful of the favorite trends, but I'm not going to be shying away from underdogs.
What's the basketball background for Leroy Duncan?
Christian Leroy Duncan played in, he's an Australian. He played in the Australian leagues. And so he comes in very athletic, great on his feet, nice and rangy. But again, if you ever watch basketball players fight, they got a ways to go to learn how to be effective
fighters. That's why I'm surprised it's minus 310.
Yeah, that's right. He looks the part. He just got beat by a kickboxer named Petrosian, though, and that's why I think there's some value on the flamboyant capoeira-styled Brazilian.
Follow the money. Paulie and Matt, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Lou Finocchiaro, our guest in studio at GamLou on Twitter for the next 20 minutes. Ribero plus 260. Zahabi plus 550. Sprinkle the 11-1 by decision. Picket plus 385. 7-1 by decision as well. The dogs. How about a favorite? Mokaev minus 340 against Perez.
Yeah, Mokaev's 23-year-old kid, and the real stats here is Perez, a veteran, and really a cagey veteran. But he's got a lot of stuff going outside the cage. He's only fought twice in the last couple of years. Now, albeit he's fought elite guys, but he's been subbed twice. In fact, Pereira, 71% of his defeats are via submission. Mokaev, 60% of his wins are by submission. This is a purely set-up fight to try and get Mokaev gussied up so that he can take on Pantoja in Brazil in another 45 days because the flyweight division, we just had a main event last week with Royval and Moreno. Between Royval, Moreno, and Pantoja, they fought each other 8-9 times. They need new blood, and everyone's vested in Mokaev, and I don't think Perez is going to be able to get in the way.
All right, and then another big favorite. What do you want to do here with Urkeg, if I'm pronouncing it right? Ursig fighting Snell. Okay.
That's a flyweight fight as well, 125-pound guy, so the small cage doesn't mean as much. But Ursig, an Australian shipping in, I think he's got the ways and means here. Now, he opens 220.
Wow.
Now he's priced here at circa 405. But I believe in him, okay? But I'm not a 405 player. So we're going to take the 405, and we're going to parlay him with a fight next week. And again, these are circa prices. In a heavyweight fight, Jayton Almeida in Brazil is fighting Curtis Blades. Excuse me, this fight's in Miami next week. Almeida ships in from Brazil. He's even. Curtis Blades minus 120. Now, kryptonite to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fighter is world-class wrestling. What's Blades? World-class wrestler. Plus, Almeida used to compete at 205. He'll step in the cage at 240, 242 pounds, and Blades, a 265-pound wrestler whose wrestling is world-class. His chin is made of balsa wood, however. I don't think Almeida has the power to get to Blades, and for Blades at minus 120, parlay him with Ursig, we can take Blades from minus 120 to plus 128. That's my game there.
Okay, excellent. Very good card, UFC 299. O'Malley in his only loss, which was the fluke when he broke his leg against Vera, O'Malley minus 225. You have thoughts on that fight or on that price?
Yeah, the UFC is surely vested on O'Malley.
Oh, yeah.
I get much of my tutoring and experience in the UFC from the MMA lab. Oh, by the way, that's where O'Malley trains. And so I'm always respectful of them. But if O'Malley's got it coming, I'm not afraid to criticize one of their fighters. But the UFC is surely vested in the lightning bolt of electricity that is Sean O'Malley. He's talking about fighting other guys. Vera beat him in the first fight, a leg kick that hurt O'Malley. And clearly, I think it's going to be Vera's best interest to try and take this fight deep. O'Malley will look at the clock come the late second and third round.
Okay.
This is a 5-round scheduled fight. Totals are not out yet, but I would look for Vera to be durable, and therefore, if that fight comes 2.5, 3.5, I surely would be looking at overs.